What does it really take to change practice? For my PhD, I'm asking speech and language therapists about their experiences of practice change. My data collection is therefore via interviews and focus groups. From these, I want to get a sense of how agency, structure, and culture may be shaping and constraining practice change. It seems to me that choices I make around transcribing the data could help or hinder the analysis process. As a speech and language therapist, I'm no stranger to using transcription in different ways for different reasons. This is roughly a little boy with speech sound difficulties saying, "Abel, I've docked my titling tort on today." Beyond the speech sound patterns and words that I transcribed, this exchange gave me other clues about my intervention. He was excited to tell me his story. He wanted my reaction, and he showed by using gestures that he was aware I might not understand him. It's easy to forget that transcription transforms one form of data to another for analysis, sharing, archiving, and reuse. Transcription has different practical purposes at different times, but is always interpretive, representational, and selective. Transcription is therefore a methodological step, but in the social sciences, it's not as visible as other steps. Unless it's tied to conversation or discourse analysis, what do we actually know about how it's understood, how it's practiced, how it's reported? Like any methodological step, transcription involves lots of choices. This means our transcription practice is full of theory, whether we acknowledge it or not. Given realism's focus on theory, a range of transcription choices may be visible in research reports. But what's the evidence? I decided to ask, how is transcription reported in realist qualitative studies that used interviews or focus groups? I designed a systematic search with very high specificity, and after screening, had a purposive sample of 32 papers. I found all instances of transcry in the 32 papers with this truncation capturing all variants of the word. I then extracted this keyword in its context so that the author's usage would be clear for the analysis. I derived a coding framework inductively from these keyword and context extracts. 14 codes marked different uses of transcry in the sample. I then coded each paper as yes or no against each of the 14 uses. I then grouped these codes by repeatedly asking, what kind of visibility is this a case of? This suggested 5 different types of transcription visibility. The first 2 were frequently present in the sample, the other 3 were not. Type 1 was visibility of transcription as a record of an encounter. In almost a quarter, transcription wasn't mentioned. Where it was mentioned, around half added verbatim or fully but didn't explain this further, and a few reported accuracy or member checks. Type 2 was visibility of the transcripts, not the audio, as primary data. Many reported that transcripts were used for the analysis. Others reported using transcripts to evidence claims or to check that findings were grounded in the data. Type 3 was visibility of anonymisation, reported in 5 papers as removal of names. What wasn't mentioned was the ethical challenge beyond names, yet this could matter given realism's need for explanatory detail about contexts. Type 4 was visibility of the transcriber. Just 4 papers made them visible as a person by stating who had done the transcribing. 2 were the first author, 1 was done professionally, and 1 was a secretary controlled by the first author. Type 5 saw 3 authors suggest something extra was gained from listening to the audio as well as reading the transcripts. This related to perspectives on the emerging reality, folk theories of stakeholders, and testing the validity of conclusions, all realist concerns. So if visibility in reporting is a valid indicator, there's little evidence here that transcription is seen as methodologically important in realist studies, or that a range of theoretically informed choices are actually being made. Of course, this may not be true, and transcription choices in realist studies may be much more varied than this study suggests. Nevertheless, the way transcription is reported could make it seem routine and unproblematic, so not encouraging new researchers to take a more critically reflexive approach. The RAMESES II project aims to develop quality and publication standards and training materials for realist evaluation. I hope transcription will be visible in these resources so it becomes a subject for discussion just like other methodological steps. As for my PhD, I suspect that anonymising at the point of transcribing is analytically helpful. I'm also curious to understand how spoken language beyond words is cluing me in to participants' particular resources, reasoning, ideas, and contexts. So watch this space.